groups. I mean, like we have books which are meant for really young kids, right? So we have a selection of cloth books at the library, for example, which can actually be used by infants, right? Although most of the books in the library, we are targeting the age group of 5 to 15-year-olds, but we have something for all age groups, because we don't promote the idea that children have to be of a certain age to be able to start reading, because it's okay if they can't read the book by themselves, like if they don't have the aptitude to decode the text. But even for infants and toddlers, I feel like it's important to help children build the familiarity with the idea of books. So which means that when you're giving a cloth book to a child, they're able to hold it, squeeze it, play with it, which kind of helps them in just kind of understanding or building that understanding of a book as an object or as a thing, and I think it takes time, but I feel like it's very important for them to build this relationship with books, so that they like by the time they're at the age of reading, it's not about the idea of a book is not a foreign concept to them really, but more like, oh yeah, like, you know, this thing is a part of my environment, like. So I feel, and like I have friends who have been telling that, oh my god, like you need to start reading to your babies before they are born and not actually wait for them to be born. So yeah. So when I was a little girl, I would read a lot, and of course the things that I was reading left a lasting impression on me. So as an adult, when I sometimes look back upon my life experiences and how things have shaped up for me, I feel like a lot of it is to do with the kind of books that I read when I was a little girl. So I just feel like it just plays such an important role in your life, right? Like there could be one book or one interaction which can potentially change the course of your life. And I feel very fortunate that I had access to all of these wonderful books around me, which I got to read when I was growing up, and I want the same for all children. And I think that is what kind of gets me going every day. The way I see it, it's not really a choice or an option. I feel like it's just, I mean, if you don't know how to read, or if you're not a reader, how do you do anything for that matter, right? Like from the most basic things, like even if you're talking about school education, at the end of the day, if you don't have, if you're unable to decode or comprehend, how do you study anything? Or in just day-to-day world, how do you operate if you're unable to read? So I get a little surprised when I hear this question, but I feel like maybe it's about the habit of reading, or maybe it's about the interest in reading. Relevance part, yes, like absolutely. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's even a question. Like it will continue to be relevant. Yes, like I mean, it is true that given the distractions, it's easy for not just children but like everyone to get distracted. I mean, I love reading, and I know that I can be on phone for hours just scrolling, but I don't necessarily see the technology part or the gadget part as being a challenge, because I feel like it's the other way. I feel like because children haven't found the right environment, or because they haven't had the right kind of I don't know, like guidance, or they haven't found the right kind of books, they haven't had the exposure to the right kind of books, it's easier for them to be distracted, because like even with all the gadgets around, like we see this at the library, that there are children who are very happy to kind of sit and read for hours. So does it contribute to the problem? Yes, but does it, is it the only factor in causing the problem? I'm not so sure. So we ran a little pilot last year. We set up a very basic library space in Spiti, in Kaza, which was open to all. And we ran the library space for a couple of months. We didn't do a lot of marketing or anything to begin with. We just had a couple of children, and then purely on the word of mouth, we had about 65 children coming in at the end of those couple of months. And these 65 children ended up borrowing over 2,600 books from the library within those couple of months. And of course, these are children who would otherwise be spending time at home looking at gadgets. But the fact that they were choosing to come to the library every day. Most of them were coming in every day anyway. We had children who were coming from different villages. So I feel like as long as we can create the right kind of environment for children where reading doesn't feel like a task, but it really feels like something to look forward to. It's absolutely possible to get children to start reading. So last year we ran a few workshops, we did a few activities. We had a couple of authors kind of dropping in at the library, which is really like such a treat, because Spiti is not a place where a lot of children will run into authors the way we do in the city. So we did one session with Tanu Shri Singh, and there were so many children, and we did it at a very short notice, and they were I think over 25 children who just showed up for the event, and they were so excited about the fact that, oh my god, there's an author, and it's a real person who's writing books, and there are all kinds of questions to ask. We also did another workshop last year, which was to familiarize children with the birds that exist in Spiti, and we did it through stories and art. We had a lot of takers for that. So I feel like the trick is in making the space and making the content so relevant for children that it's not a sell anymore. You don't have to tell them to read, but they will show up every day, and they want to be there because they see the value in doing it. So I feel like as long as we are able to build environments like that, it doesn't matter what kind of distractions exist, because there will always be takers for that.